I'm Cyndee of Women's Ministry Toolbox. Welcome to the 9th episode of Gather and Glean. You are invited to gather and glean tips and ideas related to retreat planning today. So let's jump in and get started, shall we? First up, we're going to be talking about an icebreaker game. I've selected the Icebreaker Meet Your Match game because it's a great icebreaker for retreats. Your women are going to mix and mingle and discover other women in the room that have matching experiences and interests. So this is great for really large groups, also groups as small as 10. It's going to take you about 15 to 20 minutes, and you're going to need one game board version per person. All of the directions are there on my site. Let me show you real quick what this game board looks like. This is version 2, so you're going to search the room to meet your match. Your match must sign their name and write the matching answer. No more than 2 squares can be signed by the same person, and your task is complete when you have found a match for each square. So this particular game board, you're looking for women who watch the same TV show, love the same author, enjoy the same flavor of ice cream, prefer the same food for breakfast, share the same birth order, dreams of vacationing in the same country, loathes the same household chore, and wishes they had the same superpower. It's a quick and fun game to use. It's great for mixing groups up, getting them to mingle with people that they don't know otherwise. Meet Your Match is just one of many icebreakers on my site that would be perfect for your next retreat. The question I get a lot about retreats is, how do you select your retreat topic? So I want to walk you through what I think is the best process for doing just that. First of all, you've got to spend some time in prayer. God knows exactly what it is that your specific women need. What the women at my church need may not be the same as what the women at your church need. So spend some time in prayer. Spend time in God's Word. As you're watching and waiting and listening, you will start to notice certain themes or verses start coming up repeatedly. Pay attention to that. That's your clue. I know it can be really tempting just to Google retreat theme or enter retreat theme on Pinterest. Please don't do that. Seek the Lord's will first. I promise it will make a huge difference in your retreat. Yes, God can use anything that we choose. However, when we have specifically spent time in prayer seeking His direction for our retreat, it just makes a world of difference. You will notice that it has a greater impact on your women. Present that to your team if that's your role. If you all are gathering them together and everybody's praying and searching for verses, then come together, meet, pray over those things that God has brought to the minds of each of the women on their team. And I'm willing to bet you're going to start to see a thread running through them. There's going to be a commonality, at least between the majority of the ideas presented. Do that before you get on Google, before you get on Pinterest. Related to that note, so a lot of people seek out their speaker and then just choose their theme from the speaker's topics. Now, it can be tempting, if you know a good speaker, to say, hey, here's our theme and our topic. Can you write something that goes with that? Yes, that can work. However, Amy Carroll, who is a Proverbs 31 speaker, has a post on her site that I will share the link to. Amy Carroll talks about how every speaker has a specific story. Her story is not the same as my story. She's going to be able to speak to things that I can't speak to because I haven't personally experienced them. I highly recommend that you search out a speaker based on the topic you already have. Look for speakers that speak to that, or something very similar to it that they might be able to tweak to fit with where you feel God is leading you. I actually have 3 planning tips I want to share with you when it comes to retreat planning. My first tip is put together a retreat planning team. Now, I do recommend this not be the same women that are on your women's ministry team. Open it up. This is a great opportunity to invite women in your church to be a part of the planning that aren't otherwise. Yes, there's probably going to be a lot of overlap between the women on your retreat team and the women on your women's ministry team, and that's okay. But you want to invite new women into the fold and give them the opportunity to serve and to grow their leadership skills. My second tip is that you want to involve as many women as possible in the retreat. The last retreat I attended, they had a moment where they had everyone stand up that had helped out in some way, shape, or form. Whether they greeted, whether they helped with food, whether they were on cleanup crew, helped with decoration, anyone who served in any capacity. Y'all, out of about 100 women, about 40 women stood up. They did an excellent job of using lots of different women, involving many different faces in many different circles and in many different groups. A simple way to do that is just to put a little checkbox on your retreat registration form and ask for women if they'd be willing to serve. If you want to, you can make it specific. You can say, hey, I'd be willing to be a group leader. I'd be willing to be a greeter. I'd be willing to help with the food, clean up, whatever. Or you can just say, I'm willing to volunteer, and then reach out. Place them in a position that best utilizes the gifts that God has given them. Tip number 3 for retreat planning is you're going to want to have discussion time. Your women need to have some time where they talk about what they've just heard. That's when they start making connections. That's when they put action to the words that they've heard. So if at all possible, after every speaking session, schedule that small group time. It doesn't have to be super long or lengthy. I would recommend that the first time that those women gather, it be a little bit longer. If they haven't already done icebreaker games with that group that's meeting, that they have the opportunity to break the ice and get to know one another before sharing on a deeper level. I also recommend that discussion group stay the same all the way through your retreat. The reason that I recommend that is from personal experience. I was on a retreat where every discussion time the group switched. We were supposed to sit at different tables. If I remember correctly, there wasn't really a clear plan. They just asked us to go somewhere else. A friend of mine and I wound up at the same table. Her story plays a big part in the way that she answers her questions, and so she often needs to share bits and pieces of that. If we had already established that once, she wouldn't have had to reshare that with multiple groups. It does hinder the discussion process. Instead, give your women a chance to go deeper with a smaller group of women. You're going to see real relationships form, and Lord willing, some discipleship and mentoring come out of those relationships. Moving on to my recommendation. Today's recommendation is an ebook that I created. It is called Everything You Need to Know About Planning a Retreat. Now, this is a 77-page guide, and it tells you step by step from the very beginning. We walk through the why, the when, the where, how to put together a retreat planning team. I give you tons of detailed examples. I show you programs. I share retreat schedules with you. It's available on my website. I will include the link below. It costs just $19. You can scroll down, see more details, and you can actually download a free sample. If you open that up, I include 15 pages. So I want to be completely honest and transparent with you. Everything in that ebook is somewhere on my website. But I wanted to put it together for you in an easy to reference resource booklet so that you don't have to jump back and forth from page to page, and you have something that you can print out and read and highlight and mark up if you want to. I think you'll find it to be an invaluable resource in your retreat planning, and I hope you'll consider using it. Let's move on to a little show and tell today. So, working with our retreat planning theme, I've got a little something to show you. This is a tote bag we received at the retreat that I went to just a couple weeks ago. Now, they did an awesome job. First of all, these were hanging on the back of every chair in our sanctuary. Our retreat was on our church campus this year. We actually rotate, so one year we're home, one year we're away. Inside were all sorts of goodies. I'll show you a few of them. So this I love. Let me give you a close-up of that. Okay, so this was our little journal for the weekend, and this is just a sticker. This is just a plain little bound notebook. See, there we go. Notes like that. I'm not sure where they found these, but very inexpensive and great to customize, and I had a place to write all my notes all weekend long. We got a pen, we got a pencil, a few other things we got. We got our summer schedule, so that's in here. We got a map of the church, so we knew where our small group meeting was. It was listed on there. We had some various different cards that thank you for donations, different information for ministries we could become involved in. There was a social media card that was really, really cute. We also each got a little devotional book. It's classic prayers for every need. I honestly haven't looked at it yet, but it's just kind of nice to have a little something to give every woman that points them back to Christ. Also inside there was a tea bag with one of those little honey sticks. We had a baggie with candy that was tied and placed in there, some chocolates and some hard candy. This was great because it gave us a place to put all of our stuff and something to keep it all in. So highly recommend doing something like this for your retreat. You don't have to do a canvas printed bag like this. There are, you could do a little paper gift sack or whatever, but it is a nice little touch to have. I've got a post about retreat goodie bags that I will include a link to that has some additional ideas for you. I hope that you've had the opportunity to gather and glean lots of retreat planning tips today. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you have questions or ideas that you would like to ask or share, please reach out and contact me. I look forward to seeing you the next time.